But in this video, I'm gonna show you the 3 things, the 3 steps to cure an eating disorder. Or even in this instance too, as a trainer, this is what I used back in the day. For anybody who was just trying to get healthy, for anything, it's like when you're trying to make behavior change, really is kind of at the core of it. But most of this is the application for health and how you cure eating disorders or stop binge eating, those types of things, and really how you kind of get through that. And this is so well studied too. It's crazy that a lot of like psychologists and stuff don't talk about it, because it's the same thing that the military uses to get people and guys trained up and behaving a certain way. It's the same thing that AA uses to get people that were alcoholics, which are really extreme, to being sober. It's the same thing that like sports teams, if you look at sports teams and how they get the best out of athletes, it's the same thing. So it's like really well understood in some realms, but a lot of the psychologists and a lot of the advice you hear from the people that are trying to heal these eating disorders and that kind of stuff, it isn't the same. It doesn't match up with the actual actions to do that. That's what I want to go over, is the 3 things to cure your eating disorder. Also, at the very end, I'm gonna wrap it all 3 in a nice bow for you and give you something that you can take action on today and actually start implementing it if you want to start having progress and moving forward. Now I'm gonna give you something at the end that you can do that with. You're probably also wondering if this is your first time seeing me. Intro to me, most of you guys probably haven't seen me before. My name is Jesse Wilcoxon, and I struggle with bulimia. Like, that's the eating disorder that I've struggled with for a long time. Probably about 8 years now at this point that have struggled with that. And that's despite, to be brutally honest, that's despite having a past of going to school for exercise science, being a trainer for years of my life, really since high school, graduating high school, getting certified as a trainer, helping people, helping myself, being in great shape sometimes, being in terrible shape sometimes, and knowing really everything in terms of, or not everything, but knowing a lot about health, about working out, about psychology, about all of those things. And knowing all that, despite that, still struggling with this. This is an area of life that I've still struggled with. Still struggle with it so much to the point where, now here's a really great example. Yesterday was Sunday for me, and there was a birthday celebration where essentially it's not my birthday, tomorrow's actually my birthday, but I went out with my mom and my grandpa and my girlfriend. We went out to eat to kind of celebrate an early birthday because we're going to be leaving on vacation this Thursday, so we won't really have time to do it another time. But even last night, despite, being clean, quote unquote, for a long time, last night was a night where I relapsed, where I ate really bad. It was a get together. I just wasn't thinking. I wasn't doing the 3 that I'm going to talk about here. I wasn't activating those. I wasn't using that. And it did cause a whole binge cycle and a purge cycle at the very end, right? And again, that's what not doing these 3 and not having access to the 3 happens. And it can be even to the fact where you will go into a negative. I'm sure people have been in a negative health spiral before, and if you don't use these 3, that's what causes that too. If you don't, you're gonna go further and further and further down, which we've all been there too. Just like there's upward positive progression spirals, there's a negative too. And the 3 help prevent that. So what are the 3 things? The 3 things that are going to cure the eating disorder, they're gonna get you on track, they're gonna make you healthier. The 3 things that are the same that Alcoholics Anonymous uses, that sports team use, that the military uses to make behavior change happen in individuals. And a lot of you might have heard of like one of these or have done one of these, but the thing is you have to do all 3 for it to work together. It doesn't work one without the other. All 3 have to be present. So number 1, what is the number 1 thing that's going to help you get over the eating disorder, that's going to cure this? Number 1 is community. And if you look at military, if you look at sports teams, if you look at great companies, they all have, it's not people working alone. You're not alone with what you're doing. And in things that you're shameful about, I understand why it's easier to be alone. Trust me, I didn't tell people for a long time, and that actually made it a lot worse. But in all of those situations, whether it's military, whether it's fitness, you see it in group classes, having a community, having a support system, having others, peers, having mentors in the community, having people that are a little bit ahead, a little bit behind that you can help, having a community, having a team is huge for being able to actually overcome this, because you're not alone in it. Number 2, and this one gets a lot of focus, this is where people think that it's the only solution, but again, it's only one of the 3. that's present, and that is the education. That is the actual knowledge of what's going on, the knowledge of why you make certain decisions, the knowledge of behavior change, the knowledge of how to change habits, the knowledge of how to work out, what your body type is, the things you should be eating, when you should be eating, how much you should sleep, all of those things that in regard like the knowledge of health and the tips and tricks. Those are a part of it and they are important, but they again aren't the whole pie. And that's why so many people, they'll read a book or they'll do this thing, they have the knowledge now, but then they don't have the result that they're wanting. And that's because again, it's not just the knowledge that is important for this. It's not just the education that's important. It's all three together. So that's number 2, which is the knowledge or the education. Number 3, the third thing you need to be present to kind of complete this cycle is accountability, check-ins, and coaching. Again, if you look at the military, if you look at businesses, if you look at sports teams, if you look at any of them, if you look at AA, they all have accountability, and that's on a regular basis. They all have check-ins, they all have sponsors, they all have a way, a system, a process for checking in the right way to continue growth, to continue progress. Businesses have meetings every Monday or every this. There's certain things, there's core team members that have a common goal that are meeting and that are progressing together, and you have a process for that. And so those are the 3 things. Those 3 things have to be present for you to make progress on that, for you to be able to break through this and stay on track. And none of them are like hard work either, or like really difficult to do. Most of them you can do and actually enjoy doing. Like think about a sports team you're on. Typically you enjoyed that, didn't you? Or if there's a fun business you're a part of, like you enjoy that process of building, of being a part of a community. Or maybe you're in a Slack Discord or a Discord group, a gamer group or a pickleball group, whatever it is, the community, that whole effect that works together, it's an enjoyable process. It's not something that's hard either. Now, as promised at the end of the video, I told you I was gonna give you something that would give you all 3 in a nice little cool package that you could just start implementing. So what is that? That is the Revive Health Community. So at this point, you're probably thinking like, wow, that's great. Those 3, I agree with you, Jesse, that makes perfect logical sense. Those 3, I can see how they've been present in military and businesses and different health communities or different communities around that have gotten people support and help them make progress. I absolutely get it. But how do I go about doing that? I don't know exactly what to do there. I don't see something that does exactly that fit for this specific thing, especially because it's such a touchy subject that a lot of people don't want to talk about. And that's why I'm building this community, the Revive newsletter and community, because of that exact reason. I've struggled with this and I wanted those 3 in one place. So it could be easy to make progress and it didn't have to be this up and down. And it would just one place that takes care of the things that you need in order to make progress. You want to join the Revive community, completely free. I'm doing this as a side project. I'm a CMO of multiple companies. And again, this is something I've struggled with, that I want to have a community. I want these 3 things and I don't see it out there, so that's why I'm creating it. But if you guys want access, if you guys want to get into the newsletter, you're going to get the tips and tricks, you're going to get the education, and a lot more of the psychology approach that people don't tell you. It's not necessarily that you don't know what to eat. An apple is better than a donut, but you still eat the donut. It's more about the psychology of why you want the donut. Again, the education, what to eat, how to eat, the workouts, the behavior stuff, all the education part. If you want the community, if you want the check-ins and accountability, then click below. There's going to be a sign-up link to this newsletter and community that we'll be launching. But anyway, guys, I hope this was very helpful. And again, I'm Jesse. If you guys need anything too, feel free to reply back to that first welcome email. That'll confirm you guys are on the wait list for the community. And that's what we're building, baby. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.